We won't have predictions yet, but later on in the tournament, predictions will soon be upon us for the quarterfinals, for the semis, and further. Here we go, spawning in the top left-hand corner of Oceanborn, we have our Polish Protoss player, the red Protoss representing Team Liquid. It is MaNa. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the blue Protoss player representing Berserker Esports. It is Spatz. Here we go again, Spatz, one of the stronger players on Berserker. I say that, I don't know if I can say that confidently anymore, because I know that Berserker, they picked up a bunch of players, right? I know there were a bunch of roster swaps and a bunch of roster changes recently. Let me just double check. Okay, the big one, of course. Gung Fu Banda did join Berserker. I would say Gung Fu Banda is probably their ace now. I would have said that it was Spatz, but Gung Fu Banda joined. Oh, and the other one, DNS. That was a big one, actually. DNS did switch over, left Platinum Heroes, and joined Berserker instead. So, I mean, Spatz is no longer clearly on top of the pecking order at Berserker. Now there's a little bit more contention for that #1 spot, with DNS and Gung Fu Banda rocking up as well. They have a really strong Protoss lineup. Really strong Protoss lineup there. Alongside, of course, Dimaga and Battlebee and Mixu and Foxer as well, of course. But yeah, Berserker, they have suddenly a much heftier lineup, a much more competitive lineup. Definitely looking to go for a deep run in WTL or go for another crack at WTL. Wish them the best. But we're getting into our PvP. So far, 2-gate opener. 2-gate opener out of MaNa, 2-gate opener out of Spatz. Nothing crazy yet. Historically, Spatz has been a very aggressive player and very difficult to read. So I'm really keeping my eye mostly on Spatz here. But we'll see if MaNa spices it up as well. We have our units of choice. It's going to be Zealot Sentry here by MaNa. I think we're going to cancel the Zealot, but a Sentry-based opener here for MaNa. Meanwhile, Spatz opening up Double Adept. So a much more aggressive start here from Spatz. With Double Adept, we're going to be waddling across the map, shading on out, looking at our ass, looking to get some damage done. And we do follow it up with a very fast Robo. Hello, Spatz. What's going on? He got into the main base. He confirmed there was no proxy. He confirmed the positioning of the pylon. He also confirmed the Nexus. One base all in. This is the setup for a one base all in from Spatz. He is going to be sending it. Meanwhile, across the map, MaNa still in the dark. Still trying to piece together what's going on. He saw the gateways, but he didn't see anything else. Yep, third gateway, one base all in. Okay, so Spatz living up to his reputation. I mentioned before that he was a very aggressive Protoss. He still is. Still is, Spatz. Still is. Thank God. I still know him. I still know my Spatz. For the most part. And here we go. We are moving out. Meanwhile, back at home, MaNa is throwing down his shield battery. He's setting up defensively. He's in the dark. He's now going to be scouting with Hallucination. Does come across the army, and there's not enough anti-air. The Stalkers, they do not shut down that scout. And Spatz, he gets into the main. Big scout. Sorry, MaNa gets into the main. Big scout from MaNa. Does confirm all 3 gateways. Confirms the Robo. Confirms the lack of expansion. MaNa now knows. Instantly, Robo. Robo gets thrown down. Third gateway as well. MaNa, he's getting ready for the all-in. We have 1 shield battery on the low ground. We have an overcharge as well, but is it going to be enough? Ooh, very clutch shade there from MaNa. Denying the shade of his opponent. Yeah, we're going to be able to force this back for the time being. Ooh, MaNa picking off an Adept already. Very nice move. Adept goes down. Spatz running out of steam a little bit here, but we're just waiting for the Prism. There it is. The Prism has arrived. We can warp in and reinforce on the front lines. 3 Stalkers at a time. No shot. MaNa moves out. Oh my God. Denies the warp in. That was so unlucky for Spatz. MaNa, so fortunate to come across that. Did delay the warp in, but we still warped in though. That's still a lot of Stalkers. 9 Stalkers in total. We do have quite a lot of force fields available though. There we go. Force fields are thrown down. We're trying to catch out a Stalker. Good juggling out of Spatz. Hasn't lost anything yet. At least Stalkers, I should say. Going for another warp in. MaNa prioritizing the Warp Prism. Interesting choice. Overcharge is popped. It's Prism after the Immortal. The Immortal has arrived. We can focus it down. It does soak a couple of volleys. Does eventually fall. But MaNa does force back the army, and that Prism is so low. Oh, he wants it. He wants the Warp Prism as he does edge on forward. Almost gets another Stalker, and Spatz, he does lose the Prism! Prism goes down, GG gets called, and MaNa just shuts down the all-in and takes game number 1. GG. Fab, let's go. GG, well played. MaNa does take a 1-0 lead. A very aggressive, very assertive kind of response to the one-base all-in. Typically, you'd see players be more timid and be more defensive, but no, MaNa. Best defense is a good offense. He just rolls on forward, chases down the army. Very assertive, very confident play out of MaNa is maybe a better way of putting it. As he just completely slaps Spatz down there in game 1. But now we're getting into game number 2, and we'll see how things differ here. We didn't really get to sink our teeth into game 1. Even though Spatz is aggressive, there's plenty of ways to play aggressively in PvP. Doesn't just have to be a one-base all-in, so I'm expecting Spatz to continue to spice things up. Let's go. Let us go as we have our second map. We're loading into Site Delta. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have our red Protoss player representing Team Liquid, leading the series 1-0. It is MaNa. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the German Protoss player, the blue Protoss representing Berserker Esports. It is Spatz. Here we go. PvP does continue now. Site Delta is a unique map. It is a unique map, and the big feature of this map is the ramp. Because of the ramp, MaNa is going for what looks to be a gate expand setup. The ramp does give you a better defensive advantage, does give you the high ground vision, does give you a choke point, so economic openers are much more commonplace on Site Delta. But Spatz, that is a gateway on the high ground. That is a double gas opener. It looks like a 2-gate opener at a Spatz. Something more unorthodox on Site Delta. Far more aggressive. Now, if MaNa does go for a fast expansion, he does go double gas. So it looks like MaNa is going for a Gate, Cyber, Stargate opener, followed by the Nexus. At least that's what I'm reading from this double gas opener. So MaNa isn't being too greedy, but economic nonetheless. We'll see if Spatz will try to punish this economic opener and try to break MaNa. As Spatz, he opens up with the 2-gate. Again, a lot more unusual on Site Delta. Just because you're not taking advantage of the features of the map to be able to expand faster. So 2-gate opener, we'll keep an eye on Spatz as he's moving out with his probe. Moving out, I believe, with this with the second probe. Uh-oh. He's going all in. Spatz, he's going all in. He's setting up for a proxy here. He has one worker keeping an eye on the expansion and the others to throw down the pylon. There it is. Pylon here right outside the third. Should be on the way. Oh, that is Nexus before Stargate. Oh, no. MaNa, I assumed, like, look at how much gas he has. He has 170 gas. I assumed that MaNa would go for a Stargate first, a safe opener. That is a Nexus before Stargate, which means Spatz, he has the opportunity to be aggressive. Pylon has been thrown down. Now, this does mean that we have delayed Oracle and delayed Void Ray production in general. Like, this is just greedy. This is just greedy here from MaNa. Will he get away with it? That is the question. Will he get away with it as Spatz? The Pylon is now done. Proxy Robo's on the way. One base all in, as we mentioned before, is coming out from Spatz, and this is maybe the best case scenario for Spatz, just because how greedy MaNa is. Now, this is not indefensible. Like, MaNa can still hold, but it's going to be a tight hold. It's not going to be easy. Now, thankfully for MaNa, this is the third pylon, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, this is the third pylon, not the second pylon. So this one base all in is later than it otherwise could be if we went for a proxy pylon. So this one base all-in is a little bit more hidden. MaNa scouting. Oh my god, he's checking! MaNa, he's scouting with the probe. He feels like something is wrong, and he does get eyes on the pylon, on the robo, on the proxy. Now he knows. He's fully aware of what's going on. We need Void Rays. We need Void Rays, we need shield batteries, we need a second pylon. We need as much as we can here at the natural. As the Prism is on the way. There it is, Void Ray now in production for MaNa. He's sending an Oracle across the map. Spatz has a shield battery. He's ready for the Oracle. Oracle shouldn't get any damage done as the shield battery is in position. Speaking of, there's a second shield battery on the way. Bit of an Artosis pylon, but you can see that MaNa, he has a second pylon in his main base. We need a shield battery here as well because Spatz, he can avoid the ramp, he can avoid the wall, and go straight for the main. That's exactly what he does. MaNa doesn't see. He saw the prism. He sees the warp prism. And now he can respond, but he's down to a handful of units. The boys, they have to be pulled. Boys are being pulled. Void Ray does arrive. Weak focus it down. Oh, the overcharge barely keeps it alive. Oh my god, clutch move there out of MaNa. He's going for the prism, and no shot is it going to go down. The prism is so low. We chase it down with the Void Ray, but alas, it will escape. Phew. The prism does survive, but again, clutch moves there out of MaNa, saving that Void Ray. Any lesser player would have lost it. Like, that was a really close overcharge by MaNa, keeping that Void Ray alive. Likewise, pulling the boys. He can afford to lose workers. Remember, Spatz is one base all in. Probes are a resource. We can expend them. We can use them. Revelation takes down the Observer. More Stalkers are on the way. Second Void Ray coming out here for MaNa. His army is suddenly becoming that much more powerful. Takes down a Stalker. Gets one. Gets one Stalker. Almost gets a second. As MaNa is going to try and chase this down. Oh, he gets the Void Ray. It's so close. The Void Ray does fall. The Prism is barely alive, but we're bleeding out too many Stalkers. The damage is real. The damage is too much, and now we can turn back around and shut down the proxy. And Spatz is one base all in, has fallen on its face. GG gets called as the Prism gets hunted down, and MaNa takes the 2-0. GG. MaNa, calm down. GG, well played. MaNa, he shuts down both one base all-ins in Game 1 and Game 2. Shows us all that, again, he is more than willing to shut down and more than willing to go up against these more younger players, the young blood, if you will, and yeah, does well against them. GG, well played. Very nice defensive play. I would say very risky play out of MaNa a couple of times, but was able to come out on top, was able to shut Spatz down. Very well played. GG. And with that, MaNa will advance on into the next round. Where exactly is he taking us, though? Where exactly? Exclamation mark B in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the back of yourselves.